Hi everyone. Welcome to today's presentation. I'm sorry that I couldn't be here today. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of diploma program biology. So to start, we have actually a video. Oh no, a video within a video. I wanted you to be able to see me at least for a moment. Hopefully this works. Hi everyone. I'm sorry that I couldn't be there today to lead you through this presentation on my own. So hopefully this little video recording will help clear up some of your questions. And remember, you can always talk to me in person or just come and chat with me at any time. Okay? Thanks. All right, so why do people study biology? Well, from one perspective, you can argue that biology is marginal, and we know that in science, right, chemistry is kind of the central science that unites them all. But if, as Jacques Monod's quote here, who's a Nobel laureate, holds, if the ultimate aim of the whole of science is to clarify man's relationship to the universe, then biology must be in the center. So, biology occupies a position among the sciences that is both marginal and central. Marginal because the living world constitutes a tiny, tiny, tiny part of the universe. But remember that we're part of that tiny, tiny part. So it's really important for us to understand where we came from, how we work, and where we could go in the future. One of the most exciting reasons to study biology is that there are still huge, huge numbers of discoveries being made, like almost on a daily basis. So, if you're into discovery, biology is definitely the course for you. Also, biology, in many ways, is kind of a bridge between the humanities and the sciences. There's many, many applications of both practice and findings from biology to humanities. In terms of DP biology, and these are the same for all of the sciences, right? We have these core course objectives. So number one, understanding how science works, developing a body of knowledge that's specific to that science, whether it's biology or chemistry or physics or environmental systems in society. And then we have these key skills, right? So laboratory techniques, investigative skills, analysis, evaluation, and synthesis, collaboration, and communication, right? Really at the heart of this is trying to kind of foster in you as students, right, an appreciation for what could be, the possibilities. For SL, the topics, so we have 6 kind of topics. Cell biology, molecular biology, genetics, ecology, evolution and biodiversity, and human physiology. And pretty much for all of the HL topics except for plant biology, the HL topics are really kind of going into one of the SL topics in more depth. So for example, we'll learn about nucleic acids in molecular biology, and if you take HL, then you'll learn a lot more about them. The same is true for animal physiology, genetics and evolution, and metabolism, respiration, and photosynthesis. But plant biology is perhaps a little unique in that there's not really much plant biology in the SL portion of the course. The 4 options that we can choose from, right? Neurobiology and behavior, biotechnology and bioinformatics, ecology and conservation, advanced human physiology. Usually what I do is we discuss with the class, and what the class would like to do, we go with, unless it's kind of divided, and then I might step in. We've done topics 1, topics 2, and topic 4 in the past. In terms of assessment, so just like the other sciences, there are 3 papers when you guys take the exam, right? There's paper 1, which is the multiple choice, paper 2, which is the structured question and the database questions, and paper 3, which has to do with laboratory skills and the options, and of course the internal assessment, which is 20% of the grade. Depending if you decide to do SL or HL, right, you can see there the weightings of the different papers in terms of your overall grade. And then here are some sample questions. So, organic chemistry, right, is a big part of biology and biochemistry. These are some examples of multiple multiple choice questions. Short answer, the data analysis questions are actually really fun. They put you in kind of the situation of like a researcher or a scientist or somebody who's trying to understand the work of somebody else. Basically, you have to use a lot of data to answer these questions and analyze data. In many ways, this is where all of the lab experiences and analysis of data comes in. It's not something that you can study the night before. These are kind of skills that have to be built up throughout the course over longer periods of time. Oops. And then there are essay questions. So this is maybe a little bit unique compared to the other subjects, but if you're an HL, then you do 2 sets of these, and if you're an SL, then you do 1 set of these, and that's part of the final assessment. So in terms of extended essays, lots of cool opportunities for work here. These are two extended essays that people have done in the past. So how is kind of grade 11, 12 biology maybe a little bit different from what you're doing in grade 10 right now, and the whole class does take biology? Well, number one, we have this nature of science, and this is kind of the overall theme, and yet it'll pop up and it's kind of behind almost all of the content that we do. In many ways, kind of the understandings are similar, but we do kind of like a smaller set of content, but we go a lot deeper into it. Mr. Malcolm and other teachers, I'm sure, will introduce you to the theory of knowledge and international mindedness. Those are important parts of the course. The applications and skills are actually pretty similar. So just to give you kind of a sample of how cool nature of science is and why it makes the course really exciting, I'll just take you through a couple of examples. So one of the examples has to do with the theory of spontaneous generation. This theory came from observations, basically, that this plant, Silphium, seemed to kind of pop up where there was seemingly no life before. And so this theory of spontaneous generation has kind of been around for thousands of years, and only relatively recently, I mean, past couple hundred years, was it discounted. But we look at the history of science in relation to like where we are now. So we never kind of let go of the history and the background. Another cool example. So I don't know if you guys are interested in kind of drama type situations, but lots of examples in science where people have behaved maybe not as ethically as they could, and the story of the discovery of the structure of DNA is perhaps one of those. So Rosalind Franklin is a graduate student, and basically her results of X-ray crystallography are shared without her knowledge with the 2 people that are credited with the discovery of DNA, and basically they get all the credit. So there's lots of kind of drama in the nature of science, and it kind of brings a human side to the science and makes it a little bit more exciting. Unfortunately, Rosalind Franklin died of cancer. She was recognized for her work after she died, but not during her lifetime. Yeah, the dark history of science, or the dark side of science. Another example, so basically James Lind, he experimented on withholding vitamin C with nuns, and he's in some ways kind of credited with discovering the cure. But when we go into this tale in the course, you'll find out that he was driven by business motives and actually ended up not being successful, and that kind of plunged the cure for scurvy into darkness for some time until it was discovered later on and kind of revived. These are leptin deficient mice. Basically we'll look at cases where throughout history certain medical breakthroughs or breakthroughs in science have promised a lot, and people thought that they would actually change the world in ways that they ended up not doing. And so leptin's an example of that. Yeah, other really cool cool applications. So this idea of like mind reading using magnetic resonance imaging and where that's going to go. Just kind of little teasers about some of the interesting aspects of the course. There are some mandatory laboratory experiences for the SL. So there's a microscopy. We look at plant tissue osmolarity, enzymes, chromatography. We actually build little mesocosms, and we've got some in the lab that have been going there for 2 years. And then we look at ventilation rates. I didn't list the HL laboratory experiences here, but we look at transpiration and also transpiration and something that I'm forgetting right now. So to kind of wrap this up in terms of big picture stuff, right? Obviously, biology is required for medicine, right? It is required for fields that are related to medicine. So if you want to go into research or dentistry and things like that. Yeah, psychology. There's a lot of links, and it's important to have a solid background in biology if you want to go into psychology. But then that brings you into all sorts of other kind of business-related careers, including marketing and that kind of thing. Yeah, definitely biology is in many ways, especially with synthetic biology, it's kind of blowing up, and it's hard to predict exactly how big it will get. But one thing is clear that kind of what's going on now in terms of synthetic biology and bioengineering, the end is definitely nowhere near in sight, and definitely it's kind of a rich and an important area for business and economics. Yeah, environmental careers definitely lays kind of the foundation for any career interested in or university program interested in going into environmental science, genomics, and then I think I mentioned a little bit about engineering as well. So ethics and philosophy as well. If you're interested in kind of these social science areas, lots and lots of questions that arise because of new technologies in biology. These are some of my favorite examples. So right now there are people who are literally trying to build dinosaurs from chickens by changing certain developmental genes. So chickens and dinosaurs share a common ancestor, and if they can figure out all of the changes that are required, or all of the developmental changes that are genetically coded that are different between, say, a chicken and a Tyrannosaurus rex, then they should be able to actually make a dinosaur that way rather than like the Jurassic Park method. They've already made chicken with teeth and claws and things like that on their wings. I mean, yeah, other examples. So these are these are the Franken chickens. They have been engineered to have, or the idea is that they're going to have more legs and wings in order to make them more profitable for farmers and things who wanna sell them for restaurants and food. Yeah, so that's a quick overview of DP biology. Unfortunately, I won't be able to take any questions, but let me know after this. You can shoot me an email or just walk in and bring up any questions or concerns that you have. Okay, thanks. Bye.